this weekend we got J-Rock against Jermall Charlo. Love this fight, all right? You guys know I love 154. It's my favorite division. It's been my favorite division for the last few years now, okay? And this is a fight that I've always wanted to see, okay? I couldn't wait for J-Rock to step up. J-Rock has been, he's had the Charlo name in his mouth for the last few years, okay? Even back when he was fighting on ESPN, okay? He's been talking about the Charlo twins fighting these two for a while. He's won it, Austin Trout. And he's finally getting a shot. Okay, and I'm happy for him. Jermall Charlo just started to fight the really good fighters. All right, he beat K9, knocked him out, which I thought he was going to do. Excuse me, I got a cold. And he recently fought Austin Trout. Okay, which was his best opponent to date. It was a very close fight. I thought it was a draw. Trout did very, very good in that fight. I thought Charlo was going to win, but I thought that was a draw, at least a draw. Okay, many people thought Trout won the fight. Very good fight, back and forth fight. But this fight here, it's 50-50 fight. It's very hard to call. You know, it's not enough. It's not a lot of room left at 154. You know, at this point, a lot of these guys have to fight each other. You have both Charlo twins holding titles. You got Lara holding the title. You got Canelo holding the title. And, you know, it's a lot of undefeated, up-and-coming dudes. You still got Demetrius Andrade out there. Okay? You still got the other Charlo out there, Jermall. You got, you know, a lot of good fighters at 154 right now. You got Jared Hurd. He's coming up. All right, it's a lot of guys at 154 right now. Okay, Vanes Monterosian is still out there. You got a lot of guys, and I think we're running out of room. Like, a lot of these guys got to start fighting each other, you know, which is good. So I'm glad these guys are fighting. As far as the fighters itself, there's not really much of a difference between the two. Okay, both of them fight similar. All right, both of them are technical, highly skilled boxers. Great outside game, great jabs, okay? Really fundamentally sound. Like, they're not, neither one of them are too flashy, but they stick to the basics and they're good at it, you know? Neither one of them stay in the pocket too much. But what I would say is the strengths of Jermall is definitely his size and strength, okay? His punching power. Okay, he's definitely a big guy with a great jab and a huge right hand. Okay, he has a lot of power in that right hand. As far as J-Rock, I would definitely say J-Rock is the more well-rounded fighter. I think J-Rock is the more athletic fighter. He's quicker. Okay, he has better reflexes, and I think his ability to read his opponents is slightly better. I think his boxing IQ is slightly better than Jermall's, okay? I do think Jermall is the better, he's the better he's a more seek and destroy kind of guy. He's the better knockout artist, okay? But J-Rock is the more well-rounded, better, you know, technician to me. Barely, okay? Barely. All right? Plus, he's more athletic. He's definitely more athletic. You know, I just think his speed is up to par. His movement is a little better. His jab is slightly more quicker. But he is a much smaller guy. I don't know much about his punch resistance because he hasn't fought. And that's the thing. This is J-Rock's really true test. His first true test. You know, I mean, at least Jermall Charlo has been in there with Bunrich. He's been in there with Austin Trout, who's a very seasoned fighter. A guy that I don't even know if J-Rock can beat. You know, I don't know if J-Rock can beat Austin Trout. You know, I don't know if he can. But J-Rock hasn't really fought anyone yet, and it's hard to really gauge how good he really is. We won't know until this fight. We won't know. And Jermall had just started fighting good people last year. You know, he just started. So it's really tough. It's a really tough fight to call. both of them are still not the most experienced fighters. But I do think that J-Rock is the more well-rounded fighter based on who he's fought up to this point. He's stepping up now, and he's fighting a more dangerous guy, and the guy that punched very hard, a guy that feints well, and it's a little bit. I wouldn't say he's slick, but he's just a better. He's a much better technician than anyone that J-Rock has fought up to this point. I think both of these guys are top 5 fighters at 154. And I've done so many videos on these guys, man. I even did a top 10 at 154. This fight needed to happen, and it's time. It's J-Rock. It's J-Rock's time, and it's Charlo's time. I personally think that this fight can end in a draw. I really don't know. I really don't know how the judges are gonna look at it. But I do think J-Rock's skill set is just slightly higher than Jermall's, okay? And I think he's more athletic. So if it goes to decision, I'm gonna edge it for J-Rock, okay? I'm gonna edge it for J-Rock. But I do believe that this fight could definitely be a draw, and I do believe that Jermall can very well win this fight as well. And he might even KO J-Rock. I don't know. I don't know. But one thing I like to say, and against Austin Trout, one thing that I like to point out in fights is when, these guys step up in competition. Jermall appeared to be this crazy KO knockout guy. And he hit Trout with some huge shots. Never really had him stunned. Never dropped him. And Trout has been down in several fights before. He got dropped in by Lara. He got dropped by Canelo. He got dropped by that other dude. He came back and forth after the Lara loss. I think he got dropped a couple times in that fight. Jermall took some big shots. Jermall landed some big shots, and that was these guys were trading at some point. And Trout took the shots well. And I say that to say this. Jermall probably does have power. I'm not underestimating his power at all. But if his power doesn't play, if his power is not a factor in this fight, right? If he cannot hurt J-Rock, I don't think he has the higher skill set than J-Rock to win the fight. And that's why I'm picking J-Rock. J-Rock before this fight, I think the toughest fight he had was against I seen him fight this guy. He was a Puerto Rican fighter, undefeated a few years ago. He fought that guy, and I think he had some issues in that fight. It was a couple fights that J-Rock had some tough fights, but not recently. It's been a few years now. I've been following him for a while. J-Rock has looked good. It's just that he hasn't fought anyone good. And when they both fought the same level of opposition, Jermall would definitely get the knockout almost every time. Whereas J-Rock pretty much either got the knockout or just straight out, flat out, outboxed the fighter to the end of the match. Okay? This fight, I'm not really personally rooting for either one. Like I said, I like all of these guys at 154. I do like, I like them all. So, I'm not really rooting for anyone. I just want to see a good fight. All right. I doubt it's as good as a fight was with Austin Trout with Jermall. That was a really, really good fight. But that's because they were trading a lot in that fight. Austin was taking the shots and he was dishing them out at the same time. J-Rock, I think he's going to fight a more technical fight. I think he's going to fight a more careful fight. I think his movement and his feints and his jab and his quickness and his reflexes is just going to be a little bit more. It's going to give him a slight edge. And I think he's going to win the majority of each round, barely. Okay? But, I don't know. J-Rock, I've never seen him get knocked down on a believe. But maybe if Jermall catches him with something, he can easily knock him out. Who knows? Maybe J-Rock can knock him out. You know, who knows? I really don't know. This is J-Rock's first test. And I think he's going to edge it. Barely. Okay? That's my opinion. And that's it. So, I haven't... As far as the other fights this weekend, there's a lot of fights. I might do a prediction video with of all of the fights that's coming on this week. This one means the most to me, so I made a separate video for it. Shout out to BoxingWave. I just watched his video, kind of inspired me to do a video real quick. And I was gonna do one, but I was being a little lazy. I was probably gonna do one the day of the fight. But shout out to BoxingWave. He just did a prediction video himself. And he's slightly picking J-Rock too, and I agree with it. I think J-Rock's skill set is just a little bit better, a little bit. All right, so let me know what you guys think, and I'm sure Jermall Charlo is probably the favorite because we've seen him do more. J-Rock is a little bit more unknown, but I'm picking J-Rock to edge a decision. Okay. It could be a split decision. It can be a draw. You know, I think the draw might happen, to be honest with you. But I'm picking for J-Rock. All right, guys. I'll see y'all later. I'm sneezing all over the place.